All right, we'll be ready in 3, 2, 1, and welcome back, everybody.
What's up?
Hi.
We're pop culture is back,
Yes, it is.
and you know the usual. What's up? It's Gabs.
This is. You first.
It's Jaylin.
All right. This is Hector.
And welcome back. So we're gonna do the kind of a different thing a little bit every year, right? We kind of
It's
evolve.
Like a
Yeah.
new fresh take on everything.
Yep.
yeah, it's kind of like a.
So we're gonna do just a podcast. We're gonna talk about everything, and then we'll do like a best of after we go back through it. So we're gonna do like a whole podcast,
Yeah.
and then so we're just gonna talk. We figured that some people. I found out we actually like to listen to like whole podcasts. Just put them in the background, just listen to it while they do things.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. We also got some brand new, fresh ideas too, as we were listening to what our users were saying.
Yeah.
One of the things that people want to know are like, what's fresh that week? Like any pop updates or
And
new theories.
There has been a
Pop
lot
culture news.
recently. There's been a boom.
Yeah.
Sure. So
Team.
you want to start with just updates in general, or you want to start with like the big topic of the day?
I think we should start with updates.
Yeah.
Small. Start small.
Okay.
And the biggies.
Okay,
Save
so I
best
guess
for last.
the big one, the smallest one,
Yeah.
the smallest update is they are remaking Spawn. They are doing a Spawn movie, which I think we've been asking for a Spawn movie for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. After that last
Yeah,
one.
that last. What's the guy's name? Michael.
McFarlane? No, wait, Michael what?
Michael J. White was like the one in like the 19.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
Like a 91.
I love that one.
It was all right for when it was made, but
I haven't actually seen the whole movie, but from
have.
what I saw, it looked kind of cheesy.
Well, the
was-
CGI was off.
Yeah,
it
it was
was
pretty
really
bad.
bad.
What was pretty cool was just like, I guess seeing Spawn on her motorcycle, but it felt so like 90s to me, and not like from what I've seen from like the
It was
comics.
so cheesy.
What about the part where he put maggots on the pizza?
Yeah.
And he was like, ugh, I hate pepperoni or something. And you're like, oh, there's maggots
disgusting.
on it.
Yeah, but like from what I've seen from like the comic, it's all like very dark and
very
like
dark
gruesome
and gritty and just oh my god, I would not want to live where in his life right now, stuff like that.
Well, apparently that's where they're taking this.
Oh well, I'm glad because after that I want to see something more realistic. I like realism in movies.
Yeah,
now.
because I'm not really like a big fan of Spawn, but from what I've heard, he's like the fans that like him
Really
will
strong.
like die for him.
Right.
It's
Well, what helps is that the creator, Todd McFarlane, is the director, and he is writing the script. I don't know how well that goes because, Jeff Johns, love the man as a writer, but, some of his movies aren't too great.
Yeah,
However,
like
like,
it wouldn't translate a lot to like film, like comic
Right.
and film.
you'll have
Actual-
iconic scenes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. They only have a rumored budget of $10 to $12 million.
10 to 12 minutes.
So it
so
makes
that's
you-
not a lot, right?
No, it's not.
Because like I mean,
I
that
mean,
really
it's a
doesn't
lot,
mean
but-
much because Deadpool, the first one didn't have a very big budget,
Yeah, I hear you.
So I mean, it's all about the directing, the writers, performance, all that, and what storyline they go with.
But it does say that that it could possibly go up to $50 million.
Okay.
So what it sounds like is that they're going to do a premiere of it, I guess. Like what do they call those? Like the first episodes, pilot.
Yeah, pilots.
They'll do a pilot of it, and if it looks good, they'll give them a bigger budget.
Yeah.
Has no official release date yet, but it's being rumored.
Yeah.
Which is cool. They say that it's gonna be gritty, no arch villains, no headquarters, no big ray guns. Which, thank God. Like, let's go to hell and let's kill everybody in hell while we're there. So that's cool. Okay, so there's one big piece of news.
Yeah.
What about the other news?
Dragon Ball Super, man.
So yeah, they're, I guess,
Remastering.
remastering all the
Well,
old movies.
I don't want to
to
say.
the big
I think it's
screen.
more of a reboot. It's not much of a remaster as much as it is.
No, they're
a reboot.
remastering.
Well, okay,
The Super movie's a reboot.
that's what I'm saying.
Okay?
Yeah, that.
But I'm saying that they're remastering 3 old movies.
yeah. They're going to remaster the old movies.
There's
but-
going to be a double feature, which consists of 2 together, which was the Bardock, father of Goku,
Mhm.
and then the Dragon Ball Z Fusion Reborn movie. And that's set to be in theaters November 3rd and 5th
of
So
this year,
basic.
of this year.
2018 or 2019.
2018.
So basically, they're getting everybody hyped for the new Super movie.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Oh,
gonna
they're
feature
getting us
Broly.
ready.
Yeah, dude, that's gonna be insane.
By the way, that Broly movie looks insane.
Oh, we're gonna talk about the Broly movie here.
Yeah. I don't want to get too
because they are going to re-release the 1993 DBZ Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan, and check this out. In a month, September 15th, which is a Saturday, September 17th, which is a Monday, that's also remastered and in theaters. Now, that has Akira Toriyama has always stood by saying that is not canon.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Right?
The new one's going to be canon.
Right. So this is more like what you guys said. It's
more of a reboot.
Like an ode to a fallen movie, right? Hey, it
was amazing, cool. But, of course it can't be real, so...
Although the movie made no sense, where Broly is untouchable, but then I'm going to reach out and give you my power, Goku, and then you're going to get beat. I mean, he must have got beat 10 times.
Got messed up.
And then he wins with a super punch.
On that earlier, yeah. Broly's basically has this this legendary form of the Saiyans, and then later on it's the power is just
Right, it doesn't make sense.
But I'm just gonna say one thing. I love how Akira Toriyama wanted to pay homage to Broly from the movie in the new series.
Sure.
Spoiler if you guys haven't seen the new series yet, but who hasn't? It's been a while now. Come on, guys. But in one of the nearer episodes, he went up against this female Saiyan from another universe who had the legendary
Tournament of Power.
The Tournament of Power.
Her name was
Kale.
Kale.
Yeah.
It's Kale. Kale goes berserk because she's jealous. Walks up and she takes Goku Kamehamehas her in the face, full power, and it does nothing.
Right? Wasn't he Super Saiyan Blue?
He was Super Saiyan Blue, and that was paying homage to in the movie when Goku did that to Broly, and it did nothing.
Okay, this is where our DBZ fans are really going to enjoy this podcast.
Yeah.
All right, because I have figured out the power levels. Okay, of the Super Saiyan, the gold,
they're such
the
a
red,
pun.
The blue. You watch yourself, sir. Right, the
power
rosé.
Levels are such a pun, though.
They are. Okay, so there's a difference between energy and power.
Mm-hmm.
Energy is an amount. Power is the consumption or the use of.
Yeah.
Okay, so you and me can eat the same sandwich, but I ate it faster than you, so I was more powerful than you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just to kind of not because we could sit here and have an hour-long discussion on how the power levels make sense. Okay.
Yes.
But what we need, the only thing I'm gonna say for now, which we can save this for a later podcast, totally worth it, is that just because Goku or Vegeta is in Super Saiyan Blue, it does not mean that their power levels are currently higher than anybody else's. They can actually change their power from 0, they can completely hide it, to their maximum. But what Blue allows them to do is to instantly go above a particular threshold.
Yeah.
So just because he hit him with a particular Kamehameha wave in the face against the Berserk, it doesn't mean that was even 20% of his power, so don't assume a max potential.
But he put so much energy in it.
Yeah, okay. Compared
to
him throwing a beam at Frieza back in the Saiyan arc, or back in the Frieza arc and the Namekian arc, right? Of course it's more powerful.
Yeah.
But put it into light of what his max capabilities are now, right? That could have been a 10%. That could have been a 15%. That could have been a 5%er, right? Mm-hmm. So don't think for a minute that just because he's in blue, that he's using a percentage of his maximum. Goku...
I'm trying to visualize what you're saying. So basically you're saying, I guess, blue, he's not using so the highest you go is 100.
He's not pushing his limits.
He's at 20%, but then Kale, we're talking about,
right?
She's using I guess 50% of that.
But when she's berserking, she is using full power.
She's trying to go out.
I see what you're saying.
Right, so she's experiencing and outputting full power.
Mm-hmm.
Why would he go to blue? Because he could feel the potential of the legendary. So if he had to go to 100 real quick, he could. But if he was in Super Saiyan mode, he'd have to change and transform, which would take time. And in a tournament of power, seconds are valuable. Mm-hmm. And energy is useful. Right? So he goes blue when he doesn't really want to waste that energy, which people need to realize.
Yeah, I got that. But also just the fact that Big Boy Jiren was just let me just finish this.
Oh, exactly.
No problem. Absolutely no problem. He just what it up.
So let's talk about Jiren for a second, because the Super movie is coming out in December, I believe, and it is the legendary Super Saiyan Broly, who has 5 forms, and his last form is the big Berserk green hair. It has been confirmed by Toriyama himself that Broly is more powerful than Jiren.
Yep.
which is completely
It's
insane,
mentally
bro.
unstable. Like
Jesus.
that means that this Broly would quite possibly win in a fight against Beerus.
You know what I've heard? Yeah, what I've heard
Right.
is like, I guess this would be considered like news, but this could this be like how, you know, because Super started off with Beerus waking up, having this dream about a Saiyan that's like a Super Saiyan God.
Yes.
Could Broly be the
He
one
could be
because, you
the
know,
god, but it's not really the Super Saiyan god. He's just berserk.
it was still left like a mystery after Battle of Gods. So could this be the one that's more powerful than
Because
Beerus?
Goku didn't win the fight.
Yes, and it's just crazy to think that a lot of people were speculating if Jiren would be able to beat, you know, Beerus, and now that Broly's like more powerful, like what kind of damage could he do? You know,
Right. Well, it's been suspected that Beerus is a top 5 god.
Mm-hmm.
I think that fish-like looking dude, the fish-like god.
yeah.
I think he's the most powerful. He has the ability to time travel. He's a science-based god.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, so his universe can travel back in time, and that's how his universe has become the most powerful. So it'd be interesting to see, like, if this is the rise of the new gods or something like that, you know, some kind of arc. But I like that twist, you know, like where Beerus is like the Super Saiyan God has awoken. I wonder if it was Broly.
That would be crazy.
That would be amazing. Now, there's something else that I love about Super is that they'll say something and then 100 episodes later they'll bring it back. Like, remember Whis was first talking to Goku? He's like, you know, there's a time when you're going to be able to fight without thinking. Oh, that was the first time we heard about Ultra Instinct, right? But in that same conversation, I don't know if it's that same conversation, but I remember it was around that same time. Whis was like, Goku, Vegeta, you are not allowed to transform, and you are going to raise your base power level up. You're going to fight me without that. And then look who comes along with an immensely high base power level, Broly, whose base power level is has a higher ceiling than the ceiling to the red form.
Yep.
Jeez, I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, he just walked up. His power level is amazing.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think.
Yeah.
Man.
I love. I know people are like, oh, it's annoying because it's the same thing over and over.
Right, raise your power level to beat your enemy.
Yeah, but it's just, I mean, I don't even think it's the reason I love it is what happens. I think it's how they play it out. That's the big thing for me. Because it's like, yeah, of course, they're going to win. It's the story.
Yeah, when they bring him in, they got to show, like, he has to do, like, a feat.
There's so many things that they do in between that small gap of him getting there, losing, and coming back and winning that just makes that all that more special. Like, Jiren's introduction in Tournament of Power was insane.
With his eyeballs, right?
Yeah, he was just...
And he blocked Super Saiyan God with, like, a finger or two fingers.
Goku being a Super Saiyan Blue, right? And he's kind of fatigued at this point. I'll give him that a little bit, right? And they're fighting, and he's just... one finger blocking every single hit.
Yeah, but that goes back to the more powerful you are, right?
Yeah.
But here, Super Toriyama addressed this. They brought back Master Roshi, dog, right? How did Master Roshi win? Not by power level. He won with his mind. How did Tien win? With his mind. How did Gohan win? Yeah. With his mind, right? Like, he used Frieza to help him out. There's been a lot of instances in Super where they've won not by power, but by technique and adaptation. Look at the Future Trunks saga. Yeah, I think hands down the best saga of Super.
It is.
Hands down, dude. It's the rise of Trunks. If the moment you saw Zamasu come down, I am a god, and then it was Rose, and you saw Vegeta sitting there dying, and Goku, right, like about to fight. You've been like, this is Goku's fight. This is Goku's to win. And then they go back in time and come back. You're like, this is all about Goku and Vegeta attaining a higher... Because it's always the same, right? Achieve a new form, get a villain that shows you how to master that form. And then Goku learns how to go Kaioken in that form. And then they fuse. That's the
arc.
That's the arc, right? But if you had told me at the beginning that it would be Trunks who ascends to a higher level than Vegeta and Goku by the end and kills the main character, I've been like, you crazy.
Well, I mean, he did get help from... He basically had a spirit sword.
Everybody in, like, the whole...
If you had told me that he would have created a spirit bomb in less than 10 seconds.
And put it into a sword.
Which, to me, is...
Oh, man.
Thank you.
That is true.
Less than 10 seconds, bro. And a sword. And cut a dude in half. I would have been like, you crazy. But thank you for giving me such beauty. Dude, come on, he put his spirit bomb in. It took a whole episode and a half for Goku to put one together.
I'm a little like in the minority here, but my favorite was I forget the name of the arc when they went to Universe 6 and they fought
Universe
Chandler's
6 and 7.
the tournament.
That they actually called that. I believe they do say that's part of the Tournament of Power arc. However, I think that should get its own arc because it really is. It starts the Tournament of Power. But let's call it the Vegeta arc.
Yeah, because I love my favorite character in all of Dragon Ball, Vegeta.
You mean Dragon Ball Z?
Dragon Ball everything.
There's no Vegeta.
Well, no Vegeta in Dragon Ball.
You're gonna get a lot of flack from
Yeah.
our listeners
Z,
for saying
I'm
he's
sorry,
in Dragon Ball.
not in Dragon Ball.
So you cut that crap.
Forgive me. Forgive me. Forgive me. But Vegeta is my favorite character in all of Dragon Ball Z, all the way through.
So that's why you love the Tournament of Power because he had his redemption.
Because he had his redemption, and also just the fact that he knows how to be a good father. They showed that a lot in the Trunks arc. They did when they were training, and then by the end of that training, Trunks headbutts Vegeta and gets out. That counts as a hit, right?
That's right.
Yeah, like that was good.
You like Vegeta because of the Tournament of Power or the Universe 6 and 7?
Universe 6 and 7, because Kaba comes up. He doesn't even know what Super Saiyan is. Right?
Geez,
he doesn't even know what Super Saiyan is. And Vegeta's like, he goes Super Saiyan. He's like, bro, come on, let's go Super Saiyan right now.
Right.
Show me. And he's like, what? And he's like, and then Vegeta says the meanest, most horrible thing he can to the dude and gets him to that point of just Super Saiyan, angry Super Saiyan. He's like,
Right.
you did good. You see, this is the true power. This is what you need to train.
And
then
he
he's
punches
like,
him
he's like, yeah, you did good. Boom! Just right into the gut, gets him on the floor. And he's like, remember that pain and get stronger. And he just walks off. I was like, this is why I love Vegeta.
Right. He becomes the prince of all Saiyans.
From another
planet.
universe. A different universe.
He really
man.
does ascend to his throne.
And another thing, he achieved that godly power by himself.
Do you wonder why they called it Royal Blue?
Because he's royalty.
The king of all Saiyans.
Right. But again,
He deserved his own form.
He did.
He absolutely. And
That was insane. I love that part.
when he reversed the destruction power, I was like,
Oh, geez,
yeah,
man.
that's amazing, right? That his power is the anti to the Hakai, right? Which is the destruction energy. I did not see that coming.
Oh, yes, I remember. He punched through the Hakai ball.
That's right.
Yeah, I remember. Okay,
so,
yeah.
just the fact that Vegeta was able, through his raw will and determination, achieve the
to a higher
godly
form.
key. No, I mean all the way at the beginning. When he went to Whis' palace.
Right, because we never see
Oh.
him attain the Super Saiyan Blue, and then all of a sudden he just goes blue, which shows you that Vegeta is the ultimate tactician because he knows how to. He felt that vibration.
And he just used it.
Because let's talk about that real quick, right? They say you can't sense the energy, you can only feel the pressure. That's because it's operating on an entirely new octave. Okay, it's like in music, I have different octaves, right? This is a new octave. It's a much higher one. So you can feel it, but you don't sense it in a way.
Yeah.
But if you think about Goku and all the gods, they can sense other godly energy because they feel the pressure. So it's a different vibration.
Yeah, it's not in here.
And he felt it.
It's this.
And he
right?
did it.
And just Goku had to get help from the Saiyans on the planet Earth.
Right, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, he had to do a whole ritual. Vegeta he
got
goes
it by
to the
himself,
planet
yes.
and he gets there and he's in a maid outfit. Right? And Goku's like,
God.
"Oh, what are you doing here, dude? What's up?" And then
Yep.
he just goes, and I'm like, "Oh, by the way, God form Vegeta is gonna be in the movie.
Oh, his red form?
Red form.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
Oh, I
Which-
saw that in
I
one
wanna
of
see
the.
that.
I do want to see
It
that.
looks so. I think it would look awesome.
Do you think Goku deserves to go Royal Blue?
No.
No,
I don't think so. I think they need to keep that
Do you
solely
think-
to
I think
Vegeta.
Royal Blue and Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken are on the same.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I want you guys to go back and watch the second fight between Goku and Jiren. First fight's when he attains Ultra Instinct for the first time,
Yep.
right? He goes Kaioken times 20, and he barely hits a dent, right, to Jiren. Like, it's not even hard for him, okay? But the second time Goku goes up against Jiren, he stands in front of him. He goes Super Saiyan Blue, then he goes Kaioken. Okay, if you watch that scene, Vegeta goes, "What are you doing?" And you'll notice that there's electricity flowing around Goku. And what he was, and this is a very, very subtle moment that Goku does, and they don't really, nobody talks about this.
Yeah.
He goes level 2, Super Saiyan Blue.
He does.
He
Level 2?
does. He does, and there's a moment, and I saved this picture where you can see his hair follows his level 2 Super Saiyan hair. So I think Goku, what he's going to do is he's just going to ascend levels, and whereas Vegeta is mastering the royal, like that, like I said, the
Do you
royal
think
blue.
this is another Super Vegeta situation? Because
no, absolutely not.
No, hold on. Because in the Cell Saga, he didn't go Super Saiyan 2. He went Super Saiyan Ascended,
right?
Which is Super Vegeta. It's like a buffed up form
like
of regular
1.5.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, from Cell's words, his power was equal, but his speed was less.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But that also means that he's outputting much more power per set, like in terms of like think of it as current and voltage, or current and volume of a river, right? So he might have had a very large river, which would make a large current, right? Where Cell's river flow in terms of volume, like or size, maybe Vegeta had a 3-inch pipe, where Cell only had a 1-inch pipe, but the flow rate, the currents were matching, which means, right, that the power outputs could have been equal, but because Vegeta had much more to move, like the 3-inch pipe, it was smaller, right? Yeah. So that's probably what was happening. It could have been, but he didn't sacrifice speed.
No.
So I don't think it's the same.
No, I'm not saying it's the same. I'm talking about. I'm not saying it's like the same transformation but buffed. I'm just talking about like a same type of situation. Like how he obtained the Super Saiyan Ascended form is through rigorous, horrible, deadly training, and coming to near death a lot, right? In that moment when he went Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, which is the name.
Royal Blue.
Yeah, Royal Blue. He was about to die. Like, not about, like, they can't kill them, of course, but, you know, he was close to death, and he was in the middle of a tense situation.
I would hate for that to be the case.
He had to push it.
Because then that means that form is obsolete in the future.
Of course.
I would hate for that pathway to be obsolete. Yeah, he deserves his own path of power.
He does.
I've actually watched that scene like 1,000 times.
Are
you talking about when they're both in front of Jiren and
Toppo's...
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's talking to himself, and he's like, nope, I'm not letting this happen. And then he gets up, and he just breaks through the Akai. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah.
Toppo as the god of destruction. That whole arc was pretty cool.
I mean,
the ending was cool.
Well, but, okay, Frieza did the same thing, though.
No, Frieza just went to golden form.
No, I mean, with Hakai power. Destruction power.
Oh, yeah, he held on to it.
He sat inside of it, and then he...
Right. Frieza is obviously going to be, when Beerus dies, our universe's god of destruction. It is. I don't know. I just can't think of anything else more obvious. He has controlled the power. He wants the power. He loves to destroy, and he has his angels looking over him. Goku, Vegeta. Like it just makes a lot of sense.
Bringing back a lot of memories now. Yeah,
and it makes a lot of sense.
It does.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. I never really liked Frieza as a character. I mean, I liked him. He was intimidating. He was cool. He was strong. But it was just like, oh, evil. You know, there wasn't much depth besides the fact that he was evil, right? And then after, when Super came out and they were bringing him back from the dead, I was like, bro, this guy's strong. Like, he has a lot of willpower to be doing this. I mean, he's evil.
Well, yeah, okay, so you got your character development that you were looking for.
He's evil, but there's a reason that he wants to do all these things. He's just a brat.
The first time we really know Frieza on Namek, come on, like there's no other feeling that Dragon Ball Z has ever given you, like the feeling of his power level being such a mountain
to get over.
Not even you can't get over it.
It's just there.
Right, it's a mountain of an evil.
Evil.
Right, I will never forget the feeling the first time going through that. Seeing Krillin die. Okay. That's a whole other.
I'm sorry. Can I just say something real quick? Krillin.
No. Stop it, sir.
I'm sorry. I'll stop.
No, you're good.
Okay. Krillin. And anybody else, right? Yamcha, Krillin, all these people that we see is obsolete, and they're humans, right? They can't really do a lot. The Z Fighters, right? Did you know that at this point in time, their power level can be equivalent to how strong Vegeta and Goku were in the Close to Boot arc?
That's actually not true.
Close to that.
No.
Yes.
I know for a fact that they are much higher than the Ginyu Force.
Oh no, that's not even a question.
Oh yeah. The only thing that we have to kind of say there's evidence for that are two things. One is when they died in the Buu arc and they kicked everybody's butt in the other world except for Pycon.
Yeah.
We know they're not as strong as Pycon because they got absolutely annihilated by Cell. Okay?
Yeah.
Their full power didn't put a dent into Cell.
Oh, yeah.
Not a dent.
A dent.
No, not even a scratch. The closest we've ever gotten was when Tien used his full Tri-Beam like a billion times, and all it did was just push.
It pushed him deep into
his
the floor.
second form.
It was just like, ow, okay.
Pushed.
Yeah, there's a nice gust of wind there, thank you.
Yes.
I'm cooled off now.
I will give you that it could be less than 18's power.
At this moment in time? In Super?
And greater than 19's power.
At this point in time in Super?
In the Tournament of Power.
I mean, right now, like where it's picking up.
In the movie?
In the movie.
I have no idea where it is.
Because it's after the Tournament of Power.
It's like years after or something.
So, I mean, they're able to, go on for at least a little bit in the Tournament of Power.
I want to see the evidence.
Okay.
Because right now there's no evidence to support that. Unless Toriyama comes out and says,
if Toriyama comes out and says, no, did you know that this has been proven? I read it. I just can't remember where.
You read it on Reddit?
No, I read it on Reddit. No, I was online and I was scrolling through, and it said that Yamcha has a power level now, believe it or not, of 1 million.
Yeah, that would still be less than Frieza.
Well, of course it would be less than Frieza. They can't take Hawkeye power.
Frieza in the Namekian saga.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Which I will drive with that.
Yes.
I will drive with that.
But that's Yamcha.
Yeah, and Tien is obviously more powerful.
Bro, Tien
isn't Krillin like the most powerful of all the
of all the Z fighters?
Besides
all the human
human Z fighters, yes.
Okay.
Or I would think Tien is more powerful, to be honest. They say Krillin's the strongest human, but Tien has shown time and time again that he has more impact in a fight.
There we go. Hold on. There we go again. Tien isn't stronger. He has better technique. Because Tien, if you remember, Tien literally has his own school. Krillin, he only had Master Roshi and all these people.
Yeah, you're right.
He only took a couple times.
Wasn't Tien faster than Goku?
Bro, there was a Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball,
and I saw that. I remember that episode explicit. That's actually my favorite episode when him and Tien get to, and Tien's like, "It's okay if you're not fast enough. I get it." And he's like, "Oh, you actually are pretty fast."
So egotistical.
Yeah. And then Goku was like, "You are pretty fast, but I'm just gonna take these weights off real quick." If that's okay with you, and he's like, go ahead.
Oh, you're talking about when they meet for the second tournament?
Mm-hmm.
This is after Goku trains on Kame's Lookout.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm just gonna take the weights. Just give me a quick second. He's still cocky, and then he's faster than him, and he's like, I also always loved when Popo ate a Kamehameha from Goku in Dragon Ball.
Bro, Popo, most underrated person in
strong.
DBZ.
He's so
that ugly, like dark.
He's the dude that just sits there.
He's the Magi.
Yeah, the Magi. He ate a Kamehameha from Goku. I mean, he's still a kid, but
to be fair, it was weak.
It was weak. He's a kid, but he ate it.
All right, first fun fact. Pop quiz.
Pop quiz.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Who was the very first Super Saiyan God? This is the one that spoke to Goku while he was fighting against Beerus. Starts with a Y.
This is in the movie, right?
Was it in the movie or the TV show?
It was in the TV show.
Yeah, okay. I can't remember. That was so long ago. I gotta rewatch it. And I remember talking about this too.
Yamoshi. Alrighty then.
Okay.
All right, so I think we've
pretty much covered that.
Yeah. All right, so next up, we gotta talk about Infinity War. We gotta talk about Infinity War. We've had a lot of developments in there.
Yes. Where do you want to start?
Well, okay, so Jaylin, I hear you have quite the theory.
Yeah, basically this.
Is this your theory or is this a
I've
theory?
Heard this because this is the most ridiculous I've heard. So apparently, you see, the reason Hulk is having trouble transforming into Hulk is because he's not Hulk. He's Loki.
Oh God!
And so right now,
so he's Loki.
Power isn't as important.
I said it.
Please stop.
power isn't as important right now, so he's just using like mischief, I guess.
What's
in a
the
way.
basis for this? Do you know? Or is it just a theory?
I'm sorry.
I mean,
I was about to go.
It's kind of plausible, but it's a stretch.
No, it's not. It's not even plausible.
What makes it plausible? Dude, he's Bruce Banner for most
Well,
of the movie.
basically, some think that Hulk escaped with Valkyrie and Korg on the other Asgardian ship, and now Loki knows that he's not going to win or possibly survive, like, the outcome of the Black Order and Thanos on the ship. And so he takes the form of Hulk, which is kind of weird.
No, because I would actually go with another theory that I have been hearing. They would actually go hand in hand.
I'm
with
going to
that.
say something, though. That makes no sense in any way, shape, or form. Or form.
It would. Well, from Loki's point of view, it wouldn't. Right?
Because, first of all, Loki doesn't take memories from people. He doesn't take them. He doesn't know these things about the Avengers that Bruce brings up in certain areas. Of the movie
right. Like he
and
wouldn't
stuff like
call
that.
Romanov
He
Nat.
Yeah, he wouldn't say Nat.
Yeah.
He wouldn't do all these. It would just.
Well,
He would just be like.
Well, yeah, right. I'm not saying this is your theory. This is the one.
Also,
that
he'd
he's been hearing about.
he'd be incredibly terrified in every aspect of word being anywhere near the Avengers. He was only terrified of. I mean, yeah, he was terrified of the Hulk because of the whole bang bang thing. But you know what I mean.
Well, okay, so it has been confirmed by the Russo brothers that the half of the Asgardian population has survived.
Yeah.
So Valkyrie and possibly Korg. I didn't see Korg on the.
I miss Korg. I need him
Just
back.
imagine that personality in that scene. Like, you can't see that.
No.
Come on.
Yeah, like they're sitting there. Rejoice. I'm pretty rejoiceful right now. Yeah. I mean,
Okay, so let's talk about Loki.
Okay.
It's perfect. Are you ready?
Let's hear it.
What is if you've never done it before, or had black coffee.
Oh, I have, but it's still disgusting. All right, continue.
Loki is apparently right-handed, although he has plenty of times used both hands in battle. So it's seemingly ambidextrous in battle. But every time you've ever seen Loki, like possibly die or start a strike, he always uses his right hand. And what does he use to potentially kill Thanos?
Left hand.
Right. So what they're saying is what you started off with. Loki knew he wouldn't win, so he created a replica of himself to quote unquote sacrifice himself to make it seem like he's not alive.
But
See,
I can't. I'm sorry. Can I say something though? Yeah, it only happens in the clones that he would go frost giant, but I'm pretty sure that still would happen if he really died. Because he is a frost giant. He's not an Asgardian.
Right.
So if he does die, all the magic, the enchantment controlling the fact that he looks like a normal Asgardian would go away. So if you were going to use the fact that,
This is just.
I know it's a theory, but I'm just saying, like that. I'm trying to push through people's skulls that he's dead, guys.
Yeah,
Right.
It's
it'd be kind of
over.
weird to kill him off like 3 times.
Seriously, come on, guys. He's in Valhalla. Deal with it. He made it to where all Asgardians want and need to be. Right? He died a warrior's death. He's going to Valhalla.
Emotional, very emotional.
Very emotional.
And him coming back would really take away from that.
Yeah, it'd be like, okay, now he actually is a douchebag. Like, the first couple of times, he's Loki. He would do that. But this is a little too much. Pushing it a third time,
Yeah.
that's a little much.
Okay, so I agree. I'm totally on you. I think he's dead.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's a theory that's been going around.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, right? But here's one that I actually 100% believe.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's hear it.
When Loki is talking to Thanos, he says, "Oh, I believe experience is experience." He starts saying stuff like,
I love that line.
Okay, so, God, what exactly did he say? He starts saying things like,
Loki of Asgard.
right, King of
The rightful
rightful
King of
King of Asgard. Do hereby pledge my undying allegiance, fidelity. But what does he do when he says that? He looks at Thor. So I believe he is saying that to Thor. So why would he knowingly try to kill Thanos when he knows he can't?
Yeah.
Right? Hey, in battle and say this: you will never be a god because you have to go to Valhalla, right? You know the way to go to Valhalla is by dying in death with an honorable death, and so he does that. So he's going to die, and he knows he's going there for a reason. And I have read like a ton of Loki comics, and it is so within his character to make a deal with somebody in Valhalla. I mean, I've seen him make deals with Mephisto. I've seen him make deals with Hela, right? Who in the comics takes on a completely different personality, right? So it's completely within the realm of possibility. He's meant to die.
The queen
She's
of
Loki's daughter.
Well, not in this movie.
In the comics.
But like, if you're saying Loki's in Valhalla,
Right.
isn't Hela the?
Right, so you have like Mephisto, you have Searcher, and you have Hela, who each like own their own domain, in a manner of speaking.
Doesn't Hela own Hell?
Mm-hmm.
She owns Hell.
Right.
So who would he make the deal with in Valhalla? In this.
Well, in Valhalla, who do you you'd have to make a deal with somebody, maybe like Odin, right? Who knows something.
Odin would be the posh dude he is and be like, dude, totally, I knew this was happening.
Right. But there's it's limitless who he could talk to. It'd probably have to be somebody that we know, or somebody that
possibility of introducing like a new character, maybe.
Even possible for that.
Can I say?
I would think Mephisto is my best guess.
Yeah, Mephisto.
That would be pretty cool.
But I heard a theory that I forgot to tell you. I'm sorry, but there was a theory that Eternity
Yes, I've heard about this.
would show up
Because in Guardians of the Galaxy 2,
his eyes.
Peter goes up and he goes, "I see eternity."
Yeah.
So they actually do allude to it.
that, yeah.
But the Russo brothers have confirmed that eternity will not be in Infinity Wars. Just like they have also confirmed that Red Skull is free to leave. What was that planet?
Vormir.
Vormir.
Yeah.
Because there's no more Soul Stone.
Right.
He served his purpose. He showed the person of the Soul Stone. He doesn't need to be there. But like, what is he gonna do? He doesn't
there's
really.
no more not to
Yeah, that's a new arc, or that arc is dead. I don't think they're gonna do anything because he's a Captain America villain, through and through.
What if
And
he-
Captain America, we know, is not gonna make it through Infinity War 2,
No, for a
which
fact.
I think the leading name that I've heard that makes the most sense, because somebody asked the Russo brothers what they're gonna name it, and they said that the closest one that anybody has come to is like the Avengers Ultimate something, right? Or it's like the Avengers Ultimate Time, or something like that. And the best theory I've heard is it's going to be called the Infinite Avengers.
That would be pretty awesome. I was thinking more of Avengers Endgame, maybe, but
Or Avengers Forever.
Infinite Avengers.
Oh, Avengers Forever.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Oh,
And that's what they said. Oh, you're going to call it the Avengers Forever. And they said, close. But that's not it.
Then what could that be? Oh
They
my
call it,
goodness.
if they call it the Infinite Avengers, it opens up like multiverses and all that stuff. Which, hey,
Which isn't like pretty far. That's not. That would actually be pretty smart because there is an ultimate Marvel universe like the multiverse, and that
it's
could
so much
be
darker.
like, yeah, it's so much darker. But that would be like a new possibility to bring in like different actors for the ones that are contracts are.
oh, absolutely.
So that would be a pretty smart move. I would think.
They could do that thing where it's like the same person in the same room at the same time.
Speaking of time. Anytime now.
I like how you did that. That was good.
Have you heard the Doctor Strange theories going about there? Oh yeah. So before we go to Doctor Strange theories, do you remember when he was using the when it was Doctor Strange versus Thanos?
Yes.
The best fight.
Oh, absolutely.
It was beautiful.
Well, at least one.
He
you know.
turned the black hole into
Butterflies.
butterflies.
Right.
That's true Doctor Strange. That's what
My
we
friend,
learned from
my,
the
my, one of my friends was like, "I wish he did more." I was like, "Say it, come again, come again." He turned a moving singularity at his face. Butterflies.
How many freaking MC movies has he even seen?
Can I ask you a question?
Okay. Well, yeah. Ask me the question.
Okay. What do you say to these theories like, oh, he could have just created a portal over Thanos' arm and just closed it on his arm and cut his hand off?
Oh well, that's a space thing, right? He could have easily used the Time Stone to prevent that portal from closing. It's not even a big deal to me, because Thanos is smarter than that.
No, beforehand. Like before when he showed up. And like anytime he tried using like the Infinity Gauntlet, he opens a portal, comes up, and
Like I said, he 100% could stop that from happening.
but he doesn't have the Time Stone.
But he has the Space Stone, so he
Oh,
can
yeah,
prevent.
he just-
Right.
I just
It
think
There are
doesn't
actually a
make
bunch
any
of
sense.
things they could have done in that movie where, like, I'm not.
Well,
I mean, it's
Peter,
like
Peter couldn't have. He could have just not freaked out.
Well, that was supposed to happen. We're gonna get there.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, I really gotta go in depth on this one.
Okay.
First off, with that amazing fight, I just want to point this out there. Like he had all the Doctor Stranges, and he surrounded himself with like all. They did the multi move of DBZ, right?
Yep.
And watch that scene again. slow it down. You will notice that when Thanos holds his arm up to use the gauntlet, he turns on the Soul Stone to find the real Strange. Then he uses the Power Stone to hit him with a wave, and that's how he beat him.
Wait, what?
When he made the infinite.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he did the whole.
And I have a picture of it right here on my phone just to show you guys. I saved it from my computer.
He used
as
the
a
soul, and then he used the
power, and there's my evidence for that. Okay, now here's another cool little tidbit. When he got hit in the chest by Thor, I have another picture saved where I slowed it down, and you can see the time stone being used to prevent him from dying. So he healed himself with the time stone, which is a big question. How did he lose that? Now, which stone was used by far the most in Infinity War?
No, I'm sorry. No, time.
Time. The time stone. No. Yeah, the space.
Space and time. Yeah.
It was the Tesseract. The Tesseract was used 20 times.
Yeah, he teleported everywhere. He did the
The
whole
Power Stone?
stopped everything in his.
A close second.
Yeah, close second, because he used it
15 times. What was used next the most?
the most. It was wasn't it the reality stone?
It was the Reality Stone. He used it 9 times. And he only used the Mind Stone twice because he got it
Wait,
last.
do they show like those on screen when he uses them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
These are facts from the movie, counting.
9 times.
Yeah.
I only remember 3.
Well, you could say the first one was when he used the illusion and nowhere.
Oh, yes,
Another
and then
time was when he used it to hit Drax and Mantis.
And then
Then he did the
started
bubbles,
yeah.
and then he did it against Gamora with her weapon. So, like, you could see the subtleties that he used when he was on Titan, and he used it to show Doctor Strange, right?
Can I say something? I was sad when I found out that he obliterated Xanadar. Or however you
Xandar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we didn't see it.
It's like, bro, but Nova.
Right.
Where are we-
Well,
I mean,
Nova
that's
is
how it happened.
alive.
Yeah, Nova's alive. I want to see that. I need to see that because I
All
really
the
like
work the Guardians of the Galaxy did to stop Ronan from
all that
it
work
gets
to
destroyed
stop
anyway.
him from destroying the planet. It gets destroyed anyway.
That's sad.
Okay, so we have to talk about this Infinity Stone, the Time Stone.
Oh, okay.
All right, because this is huge.
Yep.
There are so many podcasts out there, so many videos out there of theories. Listen, there's 2 main things you need to know. Number 1 is that you have to watch Ant-Man and the Wasp because the end credit scene, spoiler, has Ant-Man going into the quantum realm to get quantum energy, and he's only supposed to be in there for a minute. When he gets in there, the moment he's in there, everybody turns to dust. So Strange had to time it, so that way Ant-Man was in the quantum realm at that exact moment during the snap. That's a part of the 14,507,000.
So he's outside. He's outside.
That makes sense.
When he's in the quantum realm, he's outside
of the snap.
Okay, so he's outside of reality and space and time and all that.
Right. He's outside of that. They have said that multiple times. Okay. So he has to be in there for a reason, which confirms that Ant-Man is, a major plot device. He has to be. And you know what? I'm done with all these people asking me, oh, how's he going to get out? Listen, Ant-Man got out the first movie in the quantum realm just by hitting his, whatever that thing is called. And he goes back outside of it.
Well, that wasn't like actually the quantum realm. That was a little. The actual quantum realm was the
Really small.
Yeah.
He went into the quantum realm.
The first one.
Yeah.
Like they said, it was more like a void outside of it. It wasn't exactly.
Oh, it was a quantum realm.
The first one. Like
Yes,
the first movie.
because all those I want to say the ice, the snow-like looking things with all like the edges and they're very sharp looking. They look like like icicles or something like that. They're in constant state of fluctuation. And that's the state of the quantum realm. The quantum realm states that, or the theory is that it is always it's in a state of ambiguity until you observe it. And then once you observe it, it solidifies into a certain state. It's called the observer effect. Okay, so that is the uncertainty thing going on, right? So when he's there, they're trying to show you that he's in the uncertainty realm of the quantum realm. So it absolutely does visually represent the quantum realm.
So that's why it looks so different from.
That's
first and
right,
second.
because there's no observer.
Okay.
But we're observing it.
So he goes into the quantum realm.
Okay, so he has to come out.
He has
He's
to.
going to come out.
He's going
with
to.
quantum energy. So the quantum energy is important. Maybe to even power one of the stones. But wait, Thanos says all the stones. But wait, no, he doesn't. Are you ready? Are you ready? Fact. The Infinity Gauntlet is destroyed.
Yeah, it's permanently damaged.
fact, the dwarf is the best weapons maker in the universe.
Can't you think another one?
Okay, here's the thing. I don't think it is beyond the realm of possibility for this dwarf to make an infinity gauntlet that can sustain any use, right?
Yeah.
He knows what it's going to be used for. He makes a gauntlet that can be used to, do whatever it wants to do. It's not going to break down. So why did it break down is the question. That must mean that there's some kind of virus or something, right? Maybe like when I use a computer, turn on, boom, virus hits, and then it destroys my system.
Mm-hmm.
What would be the virus inside the Infinity Gauntlet?
I don't know. What would be the virus?
What if? Oh, here's another fact.
Okay.
Every time a stone is used, it glows.
Yes.
Fact, the time stone was glowing when Strange gave it to Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
That must mean
Oh.
What if?
I thought about that.
How do you get rid of Infinity Stones to protect the future while giving Thanos an Infinity Stone to make him believe that he has all of
You
them?
make a new one or you get one?
You get one from the future. You go to the future, you get one from the future that survived. You put it into a time loop by putting it back in time. So it destroys the gauntlet because it's not technically that time stone. But it's still close enough that he could snap with it. Right? So it's being actively used to go back in time. That's why it's still glowing. Right? Because Doctor Strange would have agreed with Doctor Strange in the future. Hey, what's the best way to protect the stone? Let's go back in time. Let's put it into a time loop. So it's always forever stuck in this time loop. Right? Because he's done that before. Right? And, well, where's the other stone? I don't know. Let's hide it somewhere. Let's give it to somebody to find. That's why Tony Stark probably has to survive. And, oh, wait, what's the quantum energy probably going to be used for? To power the stone. And that would also help with the plot line that Strange said that I will protect this particular one stone with anything and by all means, and I will kill you, Stark, and kill you, Spider-Man. Alright, so he did protect his stone, and he got rid of any future use of the Infinity Gauntlet by putting it into a time loop.
But like he used the space stone after he snapped.
Sure.
And the time stone.
Sure.
With the gauntlet.
Sure.
After he snapped, after it was destroyed.
Yeah, but I mean, I can still turn my computer on after a virus and use a minimal amount of capabilities.
I don't think he can do
He can't do
Right.
the universe wipe, but
Right, it's like my computer can't go full power if there's a virus on
he can
it.
still use the separate stones.
Sure,
That's what
I didn't
I'm
say
saying.
the Infinity Gauntlet. It's exactly.
Because you
Right.
said broken.
Well, if it's not, bro, it's charred and it's broken. Okay, I didn't say it was useless. Okay, like if I break my ACL, it's broken, but my leg isn't useless, bro. Right? Like.
Okay. But I mean, that's just a theory, right?
I love that theory, though. That would be the perfect circulation. It just explains how we go back in time.
Jeez, bro, that would be like a mindful when you watch Avengers.
Yo, I'm just sitting in the movie theaters, just freaking out, like twitching and all that.
Something that not a lot of people I've talked to, I'm not saying in general, but that I've talked to that are just the average moviegoer know. You know how Nebula is like 99% machine by now, right? And Gamora has machine in her. That's why she has the silver linings. Thanos actually did the same thing to himself. He's more cyborg than Titan. That he naturally is strong, which is why he doesn't have to use the gauntlet to beat the Hulk.
Well, yeah.
Because he's got cybernetics in him. So just something to throw out there.
But doesn't the Power Stone, the purple stone, enhance the user's strength as a side effect?
Yes, it does.
He had the gauntlet on.
Yeah, but he still wasn't using it.
And
That
he
was
had the
confirmed
power.
by
He had
the...
the power. No, as soon as you put the Power Stone in the gauntlet, it just powers the user up. Like, it gives them an immense amount of power anyway. So, I think that's why he beat the Hulk so easily. I think he still probably could beat the Hulk.
Oh, he absolutely
Without-
could take the Hulk without the Power
Stone.
Stone.
But I'm pretty sure the reason he did it so easily, like, it was absolutely nothing, was the fact that he
I don't think he used it.
I don't think he used
No. I mean, when you put the stone into the gauntlet, it amplifies the user's strength.
Yeah,
It's
I guess
with them. It brings their strength up.
naturally. Does that. Right.
right? You don't need to close the gauntlet
Totally.
and use it, right? I think that's why he, like the Hulk had so much trouble beating him, and that's
I
why
would
he was
think
just
it would
like,
still
okay.
glow even if you're not using it. If it like automatically.
Well,
powers
Infinity
it.
Gauntlet's glow in general, but he put it into the gauntlet, which just
Oh, you mean Infinity Gems, right?
Gems.
Right. Is it gems or stones?
I say, yeah. In the comics, it's a gem, but for the movies, it's stone.
I like Infinity Gems better.
I like stones. It just sounds so much cooler.
Well, because gems, like the stones, they're more like not smooth and round, so they call them stones.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you guys some questions. I've had some time to think about this and watch the movie over again. Do you still think Thanos is the best MCU villain? Because that was one of our podcasts was best villain of all time ? By MCU. Do you still think that?
Yeah.
After letting it kind of play out and having the emotions kind of settle down and the dust settles.
I think he's.
I do.
Although for me, his personality doesn't match with all the other cameos we've had. It's kind of weird.
That just
You don't think I don't know, the Vulture is better?
okay. The Vulture isn't better. In my opinion. Because he's a villain, yeah. But he isn't like a villain that is like he's not as much as a threat.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not as much
Yeah,
as a
like,
threat
I see what
as
you're saying.
Thanos. Like
You-
Thanos.
But you think a villain has to have a? Do you really think he has to pose a serious
If he
threat?
poses a serious threat, then he is a serious villain.
But he was. How is
If
he
he's
not a
dude-
serious
if he's
threat
dude
to
that's-
Spidey?
If he's a dude that's stealing weapons, Spider-Man alone can defeat him, as he did.
Yeah, Spider-Man can beat the Vulture,
Thanos.
but you're
It
like,
took every hero we know of.
Okay,
So
well,
far.
I'm about to throw something at you, so be ready.
Throw it hard. Go ahead.
If he wasn't considered a serious villain, then why was him stealing Tony Stark's power cells such a big deal at the end of the movie? Don't you think that if he had those cells, that would have turned him into a major
If he
national
had the
threat?
powers, if he had the
Right?
powers, yeah.
So don't you agree then that he
Well, that's
had
what a
the
lot
threat
of-
of being that villain?
That's what a lot
He had
of
the
people
potential to be
decided.
that threat.
Right.
What was
He had the
Killmonger's? What was his goal to
Killmonger
unleash
was
all of
just
them?
to
Oh, to
That's equally-
destabilize.
That's equally as bad. I would.
That's
think.
bad, right? That's world bad. That's like, whoa, we gotta stop this boy. That's why I think he's a good villain.
Right. Well, let me.
And plus, like emotionally too. Killmonger,
Right.
like.
We needed more Killmonger. We didn't need him to die so early.
But
They
it
rushed
makes
his
sense
death.
why he did though.
Well, they have to.
Yeah.
So, but the reason I think so is because Thanos walks into a room. You're in that room. Your reaction is not going to be, all right, so I have
Well, just his presence alone, right?
He walks in the room. The
Yeah,
Vulture
Vulture
walks in the room. He's like, okay, it's a dude in a Vulture outfit. I have a 12 gauge right here. I got this boy. This is exposed spot. Thanos walks in the room. You're like, let me get on my knees real quick. Okay, right?
I see where you're getting with this.
Thanos just has that feeling like he is.
He has the
He has
presence.
the presence. Like,
Well, what about Ultron?
no,
Ultron
okay.
is pretty scary too.
Like if he walks in, I'm doing things in my pants that,
Think
like
about him.
like
Do you
that
like
are
remember?
gross.
I have a problem with how they
Do you remember like the
Poop
first?
pants.
Do you, like I don't know if you do, but like you remember the first time you watched like the first Age of Ultron trailer, and the first time you hear his voice, it's like really really deep. But like when I went to the movies to see him, his voice was all like it was gross.
Yeah, it was different.
And I was like, what? It was so off.
His voice actually was the worst thing about the character,
I-
in my
I
opinion.
didn't. I'm gonna say something. I didn't like Ultron at all.
As a villain,
As anything. And here's why. Ultron, I've always seen as humans are a virus. I'm gonna cull the humans. There's no emotion. He doesn't have an emotional attachment to the fact that he wants to end the human race. He's just my programming pushes me to do this, this, and this. Now, in the comics, there is something like he loves Ant-Man's. He loves the Wasp. He loves the Wasp, right?
Okay.
He loves her. He has an
talking
obsession.
about in the movies
No,
or in the
comics.
comics? Right. Well, that's because he's a Pym
He's a Pym
product.
Pym product, right?
You know what? Go ahead.
Sorry. Ultron in the movie, he acted like a moody child. And I didn't like it. Like he was like, Tony Stark, he bad boy. And I'm
Do you really think it's bad though to have a moody child could make a good villain, right? Don't you think?
But not for Ultron.
You know what
Ultron,
made him like really cool? Like I guess like almost as Thanos. Like whatever. I would have made him a good guy first, because that's what they did in the cartoon. They made him like kind
they
of
made him.
butler,
He
right?
was
And
made.
we know that Ultron is gonna turn into a bad guy.
To actually be a good guy,
And then,
right?
like later on, like
And I love
he's
that.
getting more developed. And
You don't think that's a very played out,
Well, yes.
plot
But
device?
if you're gonna make a movie about a character who is built on that, do it.
What if Captain America turned bad on you? Oh, he would never do that.
that would be
That's impossible.
That would be sickening.
That my dad would just throw everything at the theater and leave, right?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. The Secret Wars that's been going on, I can't even listen to it because there's no way Captain's being.
So okay, but here's the thing: Ultron, right? He is supposed to feel like this villain that cannot be beat. He's analyzed every single outcome, and even if those outcomes don't, he has backups upon backup upon backups. The closest thing to backup plans that this guy has had was having multiple bots that he could travel to.
Agreed.
That's the only thing he had.
Yeah, you got a point.
Right?
Okay, so Ultron not a great villain.
In my opinion, yeah.
Gosh, man, that sucks.
I love that analytical. I am a robot made to save the world. Humans are the blight. I'm gonna save the world.
Like, have you ever watched Earth's Mightiest Heroes Avengers?
Yes, that's exactly.
Yeah,
that
that's
was
the
the perfect
Ultron.
Ultron. That's the Ultron I love.
Yeah, dude.
He felt like you could not beat him. He felt like he was the villain. That's like, oh my, he knows every single one of our weaknesses. He knows all the information about
Which
us.
would be really cool if you made him like a good guy and like service, and you because he gets all this information.
Yeah, that's why Ultron was not a good villain in my eyes at all for what they did to him.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's kind of. I want to ask you then this. All right. What do you think about the recent DCEU, DC Marvel?
Yeah.
DC Marvel.
DC Marvel
It's called
Universe.
I'm not
DC
thinking
Worlds
Marvel.
or DC Worlds, something like that.
Yeah, DC Cinematic Universe.
DC.
I think it's the DCEU actually.
DCEU Universe.
Right. Yeah. That's, oh my God, you just said that. Forgive me.
Like it's called either Worlds of DC or DC Worlds, like, because I guess the creators of it didn't actually name it the DCEU, it was the fans, so they actually
they just said extended universe, but it makes sense.
That makes sense. Okay,
I guess
so
you could call it that.
if we said the DC Extended Universe, that would incorporate the following villains. You would have Ares, right, for Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
For the Superman, you'd have Zod.
Yes.
For BVS, it would be, I guess, Lex Luthor and Doomsday.
Gross.
Which we shouldn't even account for. The death of Superman, that the new animated movie that
that was
came out,
amazing.
10 out of 10.
Yep.
But that's not DCEU. And then
You got Joker.
Justice League has Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
And I think we got those 4 main villains, or 5 you could say, right? Lex Luthor, Doomsday. What were the other guns again? Ares and Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
Okay, so all of them are CG basically, except for Lex Luthor. Zod.
The Suicide Squad count?
Oh, I guess why not? Yeah, it
Enchantress.
absolutely counts. Enchantress and her brother.
Yeah.
Right? Oh yeah, that's a good one. But I think the Enchantress villain was well done, put together, except it was poorly executed at the very, very end. Because Enchantress is such a demented character. You could have gone so deep and just.
I thought that when I first saw the trailer, I thought it was gonna be R-rated. She's sitting in like the star, what do you call that? In like a bathtub with grass. I was like, oh.
You could have made it into a horror movie.
Yeah, that would have been a beautiful horror movie too.
Yeah. I just think they're missing the mark, don't you think, on these villains?
I think a lot of the things
I think
about
the whole movies are.
yeah, I think a lot.
Oh, you shut your mouth on Wonder Woman. I think Wonder
It's
Woman's
alright,
one.
I
Well, I mean, here's
It's
what I'm gonna
alright.
say. Hold on. Here's what I'm gonna say to that.
You better hold me back.
The DC movie universe, the movies that they're making. I think the movies in general are hit and miss. Wonder Woman was a hit. It
Absolutely.
was a hit. Be it Batman v Superman, total miss.
Especially when you still need a director to keep explaining what they meant to do.
Total miss, right? Then you got depending on where your point of view is in certain areas. Man of Steel was a hit.
I thought Man of Steel was a good movie. It felt like Dragon Ball Z when I was watching the end.
I felt like it was a good movie.
Pretty
but
good.
It wasn't a good
And
scene.
then what was this? What's this?
Suicide Squad.
No, Justice League. Justice League was in the middle.
Yeah,
There's
it
only
was,
one part of that movie I liked. That's what the whole movie should.
There was half of the movie that I liked, and that was the beginning half.
well, Jaylin, what was your part that you liked?
It's not even that big of a part, but it's basically just because you can't. Really, I think the reason the DC movies aren't doing good is the movies have to be based around the characters, but they're not really like basing it around them. They're kind of basing it around their powers, basically. And what was cool about that is you see all these personalities come together, and you see Superman, which you've seen before, like you see him like meet all these new characters, and it was cool seeing like the person. Well, you don't really see the personalities clash, but it was cool seeing them all in the frame and seeing them fight. Yeah.
Oh, so you like seeing the clash of heroes?
Yeah, and not the clash, but
It
seeing these
was a
personalities.
clash.
Well, yeah, but like seeing the personalities collide. Really, like they need to learn how to do
I
that.
see.
Base the movies
mesh
around the
of the-
characters.
I think
instead
my
of-
favorite thing about Justice League in general was the entire beginning half before the resurrection of Superman. Mostly just because I love the building of the Justice League. I love
Which is what you're kind of saying.
what you just said. So
Except you're more focused on like how they
act around each other.
like they interacted. I see what
Which is
you're
why
doing.
everyone loves Batman.
I love the building. My favorite.
I rolled there if you didn't see it.
My favorite scene out of the entire movie, though, was the explanation and the visualization of the war, the first war that took place, where Zeus, Artemis, the Green Lantern,
Yeah, I got you. They all came together.
all of them came together. I was like, this right here is a prime example of why I have hope for these movies. Because if you can do this, if you can do
Yeah, you wanted to
this,
see that again.
if you can do
Yeah,
this in another movie, and make that like stretch it out a little bit, add a couple more things, I'm there, and I'm there 100%. But
Did you know that? Remember in the very beginning when Superman's being interviewed by like a kid's cell phone?
Yeah.
And you're like, what's so weird about this face? I guess he had a mustache. They CGI'd
yeah,
it.
they had to because he was doing Mission Impossible at the same
Right.
time, and they couldn't just stop recording. So
Right.
they had to CGI.
What's cool is that's the movie. The Superman that we got was actually pretty cool. It's just how it's weird how they like tried to change like the way the movies feel so drastically, because that Superman was nothing compared to like the one or it wasn't the same compared to the one we got in Man of Steel.
No, they were two different character adaptations
He
of
did
Superman.
die.
Like we need like the classic,
Sure.
we need like
Dying
the classic
teenagers,
DC
people.
feel. We can't like have these dark and it needs to be lighthearted.
Oh, they're gonna do the same thing with Aquaman.
Yeah, I like this dark look though. I feel like
It's supposed to be dark.
Yeah, it fits with my interpretation of DC, because I see Marvel as superheroes, sci-fi, aliens, woo, happy endings. But I see DC a lot more as, yo, this is a threat. People are going to die. We need to take care of
So you
it.
see Superman as that type of character?
I see, yeah, I definitely
Superman is
do.
not supposed to be.
There
like
aren't a lot of scenarios where.
Come on, he's supposed to be
Or
true
Wonder
justice
Woman.
in the American
There
way.
aren't a lot of scenarios where Superman is a lot, serious, but there are those scenarios.
Well, bro, let's be real. Superman can't be brave. He's indestructible. The only time he can be brave is when he's fighting Darkseid, Steppenwolf,
Stuff like them, and
or
he has
Doomsday.
fought them. Another thing that I thought was really cool, like an example of dark and gritty, is the Injustice universe. That right there.
Now, how? Okay, let's say that they never went that route with the way that they've gone now, but instead they went to the Injustice route in these DC movies. Do you think those would have done better?
Yes, I think they would have done amazing due to the insane fact that in Batman v Superman, how they captured that whole scene with Batman coming out and you see the Omega sign and all that. I was like, bro, this right here, this would be awesome. Like this, that's another thing about DC movies. They have a tendency to do amazing at a certain scene and just one scene throughout that time.
I'm not saying that like.
I
I feel
dark
like
and gritty.
that wouldn't sit right with a bunch of like maybe DC fans, but not like the audience like in whole. I feel like you don't have to make it lighthearted and fun as like Marvel, or maybe close to that, but it doesn't need to be like really dark like BVS. It needs to be as light as Justice League was.
But don't you feel that like it would be refreshing to have a completely new take?
That's what I was going to say.
I think they need to go the classic route.
The classic
What
route,
people
dude. They've
were
been
meant-
doing
They've
the
been
classic
doing the
route
classic
for a while. Wouldn't you agree?
I don't see BVS,
The only thing that's-
Wonder Woman or Man of Steel or Suicide Squad or Justice League. As
You
a
want to know?
classic.
You want to know what's
Justice League is close.
You want to know what's
Wonder Woman is so classic.
You want to know what's really cool though? The only few superheroes that I've ever seen as happy and dandy and anything like that is Superman, Wonder Woman, and the Flash, and maybe a couple others that I'm not mentioning because they're minor superheroes.
You can make Batman a little more light.
No.
No, you can't.
Since everybody likes the Dark Knight Returns, they think Batman has to be exactly like.
Well, that's because the Dark Knight has come there it was Batman, and then they changed once Frank Miller came out and took over. He became the Dark Knight.
This is the Batman I want to see would be a mix of him fighting the Riddler and these henchmen dressed in these.
You want to see detective comics?
Yeah, they're in these the henchmen of the Riddler in these crazy question mark uniforms, and then that's a mix of
I like the but supposedly that's where they're going with the new Batman movie. Is they're going to make it more about detective.
Good.
I
can get behind that. I don't want to see Batman get in the middle of a fight with the Joker and start cracking jokes.
No,
or laughing at
that's not.
No, I know that's not what you mean, but
they dropped the Riddler and Batman vs Superman.
Oh yeah.
There is a question mark. Remember when he's about to stab Superman? He's got his foot on his chest. He's about to stab him.
It's
in that building.
Painted.
Yeah, it's spray painted.
I noticed that in the trailer when it came out. It was in the trailer.
So they hinted towards it.
Yeah, that's just the thing. You can't make Batman any more lighter than they already tried making it. Because if they do, then it wouldn't be Batman.
They just did it wrong. I would say.
They did a couple things that they could change, but it's just
Batman wouldn't say,
I need the Batman to be the odd one out. Because just even
and Cyborg.
Yeah, and Cyborg.
Because he's by character definition not fully human.
Yeah. And in the movie, and even in the TV show, right? Everybody's sitting around the table. We should induct this guy. He seems pretty cool. Or we're gonna talk. No. I'm talking about all the Justice League Unlimited, Justice League, all of them. Right? They're all sitting around the table, and they're talking about this. They're talking about that. Everybody else is we can do that, and Batman's just.
Yeah.
He's just sitting there observing, right?
Oh, very much so.
And when they come to him, shorten to the point. I understand. Yes. No. Stuff like that. Everybody's like, yeah. He's just.
Well, he's seen
Batman
a lot.
doesn't have to be lighthearted. He has to be in lighthearted situations, I would think. But he's still in his serious, mode. He wouldn't.
No, I get exactly what you're saying.
It would be funny to see Batman fighting a guy in underwear or some green underwear or whatever, and clown makeup or something.
Yeah, you don't want to see him fighting all these titans.
Yeah.
Right? You want to see him in his element, basically.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pose this question to you. Okay. Hey, Hector, you are the Flash guy.
Yeah.
So this is a Green Lantern question from my brother. Okay. So the current forerunner for Green Lantern, the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Directed and written by Jeff Johns, of course, is Tom Cruise. Okay, so Tom Cruise is a little older. Now, let's remember what the movie is, right? The movie's where they are. There's no Green Lanterns on Earth, right? Because Hal Jordan has left. Jon Stewart is not there. And I don't think they're going to bring in, Kyle Rayner. They might bring in, a Guy Gardner if they get there. Right? But what is apparent is that this is going to be a Hal Jordan that has been, an aged Hal Jordan. Which means he will have seen and been through a lot. Now, do you think from that perspective, if Hal Jordan returns to the Justice League, how could they make this Hal Jordan fit in? Could he fit? Could you see a Tom Cruise then playing an older Hal Jordan?
So, are we talking about the feel that the DC movies are with now?
Right, yes, right now. Because if he comes back, that's going to be in the DCEU as we've established.
Well, how he would fit. It's kind of hard to say because Tom Cruise is he doesn't play the same character in every movie, but I feel the director would have to have him.
Jeff Johns,
yeah. Well, actually, yeah. I feel with him, he'd make him the way he writes his Green Lanterns. That's the type of guy you would need to make him fit with. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you're right. Could you see him being
Because
remember
Hal Jordan's kind of a cocky. He's mature, but he's
absolutely cocky.
And I guess I could see Tom Cruise pull that off.
Well, I mean, like he said, though, it's an older Green Lantern who's seen more things. He's going to be a little more...
Also, Hal Jordan. Yeah.
Do you remember Green Lantern Rebirth?
Yeah.
Back in 2002, I think, 2004, around there. Yeah. That was the Hal Jordan from another universe who had parallax, right? And who... Yes. And that Hal Jordan went through everything from seeing his hometown get destroyed. He got parallax. He went on a killing spree. Figured out how to get through Spectre's help, got rid of parallax, and then became Hal Jordan again. Right, had the gray hair,
I
and so
think
he's the
him
older, wiser Hal
being
Jordan.
like his personality clash with Superman, he has a problem with authority, and he went and Batman. Yes, like yeah.
Well,
that
he
would be
clashes
pretty
with
cool.
Batman.
I could see that getting punched in the face.
If Hal Jordan punched Batman in the face,
Yeah,
would that be one of the best DC moments of all
Batman
time?
getting his revenge,
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing is,
He's done that in the
Hal
comics.
Jordan will have like a problem with authority, and so I think he would have a problem with taking command from like all the members of the Justice League, and I feel Tom Cruise could probably pull that off.
I also feel that Tom Cruise as an actor has a lot of range, a lot more range than a lot of people give him credit for, because Tom Cruise has always played in a lot of movies the
guy that pulls
Tom
off
Cruise
the
has always
impossible.
played the guy that pulls off the impossible and the guy that makes a certain joke here and there, right? He plays a lot of those movies. Jack Reacher.
He's like a James Bond.
He is like he's like an American James Bond.
That's a great way to put that, I think.
He's an American James
Speaking
Bond.
of, Idris Elba could be the next James Bond, real quick. Just throwing that out
But
there.
then,
But back to the
but then
story.
the guy who plays Loki, I can't remember his name, would be the James
Hiddleston?
Bond. Hiddleston. Tom Hiddleston. He's going to be the next James Bond. People say that. Okay, back to what I was saying. Tom Cruise has a lot of range as an actor, and if they put him in as Green Lantern, and I really hope, like again, like I said, DC is a hit and miss with a lot of things. I really feel like they could knock this out of the ballpark if they put him in as an older, wiser Hal Jordan. But again, I can't really know for sure. It's DC, and DC's been like.
So yeah,
It's Jeff Johns.
I feel you would probably have to reboot the whole DC cinematic universe because it's all kind of a mess right now for me. Like I would just redo everything. Start it off with just giving the characters their own. But yeah.
You'd have to give a backstory, right?
Well,
Why aren't the Green Lanterns there? Why? Like that question has to be answered. Oh, you think they're gonna flashpoint everything?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Why not?
You telling me that? Because then they reboot the whole everything that we've seen, right? Because now you'd have to redo even the Justice League. You'd have to redo the Justice League.
In the old Flashpoint Paradox movie, the animated one.
Yeah.
Any of the characters we see change.
Aquaman changed.
The only thing that changed about them was the look of their costumes.
Wonder Woman.
And a couple, probably one or two of them, their origin stories.
Do you mean when he went to the alternative universe?
No, after he changed everything.
When
he comes back, if you notice from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie, the only thing that changes about what we see from Batman is the color of the suit.
And the Flash is so vital.
I don't know.
And
The Flash is so vital. God.
the suits. The only thing that changes is the suits, and maybe one or two of the people, the way they act.
That's not Flash.
See, so if you want, I don't either. I don't like him at all because they chose the wrong Flash. That's Bart
Yeah, the
Allen.
Flash is supposed to be very charismatic. He's the latest man.
Yeah,
Just to start things off.
he acts like his grandson, and I don't like it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's more like Bart, isn't
Like
he?
Bart Allen. He's a lot more. He's childish. He's a little dumbfounded. He's like, whoa, what's this? This is cool. Yeah, like that's not Barry. But
I
if
like
they are
some
to
parts of
reboot,
Justice
which I
League.
think they will, they're
They're
not
gonna
going to
lose a
reboot
lot
it.
of people.
They're not going to reboot it. They're not going to reboot it. They're going to be like, hey, we're going to fix some problems, just exactly like the X-Men universe. Days of Future Past. It fixed so many plot holes.
Oh God, it did.
So many plot
It
holes.
did.
Nobody
Yeah, but-
complained.
Oh, I think it was super refreshing.
There was nobody complained.
You know, what really brought that back to me? It was First Class, right? That was the first one.
Yeah.
And then it was Days of Future Past.
It was.
I'm sorry.
I loved Days of Future Past because I just loved the way the Sentinels looked.
But that was great. Like
Sentinels
that
looked
whole
amazing.
idea, I was like, you could have actually it's right on the cusp, right? But when they're in the airport and Xavier is talking to
He
Mystique,
just gets his power back too.
right? And you're like, wow, I now see the rise of Professor X. You know, like that scene to me was the most iconic scene in all of the X-Men.
It's such a callback. It's such a callback too.
Yes.
Yeah, it's such a callback to the X1, X2, X3 movies. When he did that in those movies, when he would go into somebody's head and
That
be
dude
like, hey,
risked a lot.
Such
She just shot him in
such
the
a
head,
non-violent
and all that
way.
went for nothing.
You know.
he also learned a lot.
Yes.
And by
you
the end of
saw
the movie,
rise of Professor
by the end of
Xavier?
the movie, right? In the beginning, and even in First Class, he's always trying to control Mystique. He's trying to get her. He's trying to conform. Come on, Mystique, just don't. Right? By the end of that movie, he lets Mystique choose her choice.
Okay.
Right?
Do you
Choose her
think
choice.
Days of let's not do First Class. Let's do Days of Future Past. Which of the DCEU movies that we just discussed are better than that movie? Do you think there are any DCEU movies
Wonder Woman's
that
good.
have come out?
No.
Well, you don't even think Wonder Woman's better than?
Wonder Woman's good. I'm not gonna bash that movie. That was an amazing movie.
But you think
it's
it's better
not
than?
better than that movie. Because that movie was a sense of closure for a lot of X movie fans, right? A lot of X movie fans were like, oh, they could have done like X3, come on, man. Or X2 had this X1. What was that Storm said?
The same thing
What was that line?
What does that mean?
To its toe, they get struck by lightning.
Oh God!
Like, stop it, right?
Yeah.
X-Men Days of Future Past.
You know they should have hired Arnold for 5 minutes
Yeah.
and been like, Arnold, give me a one-liner. Oh my God! You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like and
Yeah.
X-Men Days of Future Past was just like, hey, we messed up. Here's awesome fight scenes along with awesome concepts, and we're fixing all of it at the same time.
I feel like First.
And then we got
Class
Apocalypse.
And then we get it.
Future Past. That's why we.
And then a Dark Phoenix movie's coming up soon.
Days of Future Past was okay. I like Days of Future Past due to the fact that
I love Kevin Bacon as that.
yeah,
as a villain.
he was such a good villain. I forget the name of his. Does his villain even have like a rambunctious name, like a code name?
Yeah,
I forget it though.
he did.
Sebastian Shaw. He
Well, I mean that's
It is
his name,
Sebastian
but-
Shaw.
Yeah, what's his name? Like his call sign. I was gonna say. I think that's what it is.
But yo, man, Kevin Bacon, bro. When I saw that in the theater, I didn't even want to see that
Yeah, I
movie
know
because I
that.
thought it was lame because I was following all my friends like in 5th grade. And my mom was like, "Do you want to go see this movie?" I was like, "No, let's go see Frank Panda 2." And we went to go see that. My mom was like, "Do you want to go see this movie?" Bro, he shoots his mom, and like, I was like, "Yo, what the heck? What kind of X-Men movie is this?" And he like raises and like puts a coin through his head. What the heck? What kind of X-Men?
Yeah, you know, not a lot of people expected that. Not a lot of people expected that from Kevin Bacon either. Because you know how Kevin Bacon's always like, he is a tough guy, right? Kevin Bacon showed in that movie that he can be an amazing actor.
Well, you guys haven't been around for that long.
That doesn't mean I haven't seen the movies, sir.
You have you? I mean, have you seen Kevin Bacon's films?
Footloose.
I mean, seriously, give me 3 Kevin Bacon films where he's a villain.
We're okay.
I'm gonna let you think. How about the one where he's invisible?
I'm gonna let you think. How about the one where he's invisible?
He's invisible, like permanently, or like, he just,
This is one of his most iconic ones. He's invisible. Yeah. And I think he did a great job in this movie. Although the movie itself, because I mean, Hollow Man.
That was Kevin Bacon.
That was yeah. He was also in Mystic River.
That was Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, that was Kevin Bacon.
No, I mean I'm talking about Hollow Man.
Yeah, he was Hollow Man.
First
What?
Class,
Okay.
best X-Men movie,
I need to pay attention to casts.
First Class, best X-Men movie, hands down. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he was great.
That was
Yeah. I think man, there's so much more we could talk about, but I think are you guys ready to wrap it up for the day?
Yeah, sure. I'm down.
Okay, so I just gotta say one other Kevin Bacon movie.
Yeah.
That I just gotta say, Tremors. But it, not a villain, but it.
Yep.
All right,
That I saw.
Yeah, we got plenty left to talk about, for our next podcast, I
I
think.
saw Hollow Man. I always thought that was Kevin Bacon.
Oh, yeah. Well, you couldn't see him, so.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was like, and I always thought I was sitting here like, why does his voice sound familiar? But I don't know who it is. And then, Kevin Bacon.
Cool. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Leave us some comments. Let me know what you guys think.
Drop that like,
Oh,
comment,
absolutely.
subscribe, guys.
Hit the end record. Hit the stop button.